Welcome to Fitzdog Radio. If things look a little bit different this week, it's because I got a new computer, which has been a nightmare for the last 24 hours, trying to sync everything up, but I think we got it. It's weird, though. The camera is moving around. That's strange. It keeps me centered. Oh, that's interesting. All right. I like that. They've got a little effect you can put on that makes you look better. So how's that? Huh? 59. Look 58. We got a great show for you today. We had an interview yesterday with the great Phil Rosenthal, who is a regular to the show. He's been on several times. Created Everybody Loves Raymond. He's worth so much money, and he acts like a regular dude. Why is that important, by the way? Is that important? It is somehow. I mean, then you got Jeff Bezos, who I was at his wedding this weekend, and I'll tell you something. Oprah fucking ate so much of the buffet that there was barely any room for me and Justin Bieber. So we just made out because TMZ was there, and we figured, hey, let's get in on this a little bit. Now, I guess for some people, we like to see conspicuous consumption, like Bezos is, like the Bay's Eye. And it was weird. It was gross, man. Somebody juxtaposed some shots of like kids in India at garbage dumps looking for food, and like sub-Saharan African refugee camps and people fighting over a handful of grain, mixed with like the Kardashians eating lobster and stepping off a yacht. It's so... What a fucking world, man. How do you reconcile these different existences that we're each handed in life? You know, I mean, I just saw like if you want, ready for this number? If you want to be in the top 1% financially in this world, guess how much you need to be making? How about lower? Nope, lower. Lower than that, $32,000. You are in the top 1% of the world. So that makes me feel pretty good. It makes me in the top 2% anyway. If you like the show, spread the word, tell your friends. Fitzdog Radio, watch it on YouTube, comment, like it, do all that stuff. We're trying to spread the show. We got next week, Larry Charles will be on the show, who is one of the original writers of Seinfeld. He directs Curb Your Enthusiasm. He directed Sacha Baron Cohen's movies. He's kind of one of the great comedic voices of our generation. He's up there. So I'm reading his book right here. You want to hear something fucking crazy? If you think your computer's not listening to you, which it probably is, I was telling somebody about reading Larry Charles's book and how he talks about a scene there was a TV show called Fridays that had Kramer. What's Kramer's name? Michael Richards was on it with, and Larry David was a writer. Anyway, there was a scene where Andy Kaufman comes on an episode of the show, and Andy breaks the fourth wall. And in the middle of a sketch, he just starts saying this sketch isn't funny. He steps out of character. Everything shuts down. There's nervous laughter. The crew doesn't know what to do. It's theater. It's crazy. Anyway, so I'm talking about that. Get on my Instagram the next day, and it shows me that scene that I was talking about from a TV show that was around in 1993. I don't know the year, but it was a long time ago. All right, fine. So maybe. Then I'm trying to show my kids Woody Allen movies because I feel like they're some of the greatest movies ever made. And, you know, did he get convicted of anything? Was there any real evidence? I mean, I don't want to get into it, but I show my daughter Love and Death, which is my favorite Woody Allen movie. And she's dying. She had just gotten her appendix out. She couldn't even laugh. It was so funny, so intellectually stimulating and philosophical. And anyway, so I show her that. All of a sudden, I'm getting Woody Allen clips on my Instagram feed. What the fuck is going on? Is this real? It's all happening so fast. There are driverless cars constantly passing me on the street. If you had told me that, 1 year ago? That there would be a car without a driver? I would have said you're fucking crazy. And now we're in one of the craziest driving cities in the country, and the city is packed with driverless. I don't know. I sound like an old man. It's all happening too fast. Slow down. Anyway, I had a nice weekend, fell in love with Venice Beach all over again. We went to the beach yesterday, the whole weekend at the beach. Went with the wife. We went down to the beach. I took some mushrooms with Fitzsimmons, Gibbons, and Gubbins. We're all together. Rode some waves. Water was beautiful. Just good chill hanging out. Rabi was there. A lot of fun. Got up this morning. I just love Venice. It's just easy. I had nothing to do today except deal with my computer, but I took a little break. I went down. I put on my headphones. I got my bike. I drive down to the beach. I'm waving at neighbors. Some of them want me to stop, but I got the headphones in, so I just tap the headphone and I wave like I'm on the phone. It just wasn't that day. It wasn't the day to stop and chat. It was a different day. It was an active. So I get to the I get to the beach and I'm watching paddle tennis. I didn't bring my paddle, which I should have, so I'm just watching the boys play. I stop at the basketball courts. There's some trash talking, white men can't jump basketball going on, high quality. I pop over. I get a chair massage. I get a 20-minute chair massage. There's this place that's been on the corner of Windward and the beach for 25 years. And it's Chinese massage. You sit out on the boardwalk with your face in one of those chairs. And this woman who looks like she weighs about 94 pounds, but she has the claws of a fucking reptile. She is like a rock climber. These hands are like the hands of a rock climber. And she gets in there, and I'm telling you, she knew my body better than my wife does, for God's sake. And she got into all the pressure points on the back and the shoulder. Anyway, $18 for 20 minutes. Boom. Thank you very much. And I'm laying there, and this dude comes. My face is already down, but this dude comes in real loud. He goes, all right, who's working? Yeah, I want a woman. No, you know what? Give me a guy. I got a lot of pain. I got hit. And so he sits down in the chair next to me, and he doesn't stop talking the whole time. He's moaning really loud, and I can hear he's got the thick Latino accent. And I'm just painting a picture of this guy in my head as he's talking. It's like, oh, not too hard. Oh, no, easy. I got hit. But I don't even know what part of the body he's talking about that he got hit. But go soft, essay. So I get up and I take a look at him, and there it is. Neck tattoos, check. Dodger jersey, check. The slip-on Vans, check. Shaved head, pants that are too long to be shorts and too short to be pants. You know what I'm talking about. He's a Chicano. He's an old school Chicano. And I touched him on the shoulder. I said, "Good luck, buddy." And he goes, "Thanks, bro." And then I went down to the ocean and I dove in. And people say the water's dirty because of the Palisades fire. Okay, so what? What, I'm not going to live forever? I don't want to live forever. I want to live now. I want to live today. I want to feel the fucking water rushing underneath me as I paddle and catch a wave and fly across the top with the palms of my hands breaking the water in front of me like Superman. That's what I want. I saw a dolphin go by, and, I can live without the boom boxes. I don't care about your music. Don't impose your fucking music on me, people. Last weekend I was up in Vancouver with Louie C.K., did some shows with him, and there's not a better comedian, hands down. Last 20 years, Louie C.K. is the best comedian that in the world. And his new hour holds up to any of it. It's so goddamn funny. He's the best. He's total control of what he's doing up there. Facial expressions, pauses, act outs, hard turns, big builds, every facet of comedy he's a master of. Anyway, he's got a big tour coming up, so go forget my dates. Go see Louis C.K. instead. Much funnier than me. Although I fucking tore it up. Not gonna lie to you, I made Louis work. He had to earn it. Because I only had to do, I think I did 15 or 20 minutes. So I was just, old school. Try to bury the guy. That's my job. That's why he hired me. Make him work hard. Heading off for Austin, Texas this weekend. I'll be at the mothership. And you know what? It's going to be I'm going to be on stage on the 4th of July. I don't know what that means. Who comes out? I think it's going to be the only night of the year the club's not sold out. Is 4th of July. Who knows? They love America there. God, they love America in Texas. It's their America. They've sort of claimed ownership of the flag and the country. And I'm just visiting. I'm just the guy from California. But I got some shit. I got some specific Austin jokes I'm going to be talking about. Elon Musk's new cars just got unleashed in the city. Going to talk about that. Talk about their abortion. Every state has well, you can get an abortion here. You just got to get it immediately. The waiting period before is I think a week in Texas. You got to basically have sex and then sprint to the clinic with the jizz running down your leg still and just get up in those stirrups and be like, get it out. But we don't think you're pregnant. Just in case. Is this a funny idea? If you're having an abortion, I think you should still have the gender reveal party. But when they pop the balloon, instead of blue or red confetti, it's just empty. It just pops. But then it's a way better party because the couple has that much more money to spend now. They have that much more disposable income. So now the good champagne comes out. Now the lobster tails come out because you're not spending all that shit on a onesie or a bottle. Get a real bottle. Some 15-year-old scotch. 25? I don't know. I don't drink scotch. Anyway, we should get going. More to talk about next week, but for now, I will be also in Pottstown, Pennsylvania at Soul Joel's, July 31st, which is our anniversary, so my wife is pretty psyched. Point Pleasant, New Jersey at Uncle Vinny's on August 1st and 2nd. La Jolla Comedy Store, August 29th through the 31st. Then I'm coming to Denver, Connecticut, Vegas, Chicago, San Francisco. All the dates are at Fitzdog.com. Get some tickets. Come out. See some live comedy. All right, my guest today I mentioned earlier is the guy who created Everybody Loves Raymond, and he's run a bunch of other shows. He's also been in movies. He was in Spanglish. He was in the Simpsons movie. He's been on Curb, 30 Rock. Anyway, real smart, good dude. And he's got this show out now, Somebody Feed Phil, which is in its 8th season on Netflix. It's the longest running non-scripted show in Netflix history, and you should check it out. You're going to love him. Hang out with me and the great Phil Rosenthal. All right, here we go.
So that's what we do when you come on our show.
Yeah.
The moment you enter the room, the cameras, everything's already going because you never know. You're going to catch something.
Yeah, like them talking about philandering or their drug use.
Exactly. I was going to tell you all about my times with Epstein.
Not that Epstein. Different Epstein.
Got a bum deal.
Yeah. You mean with getting murdered or?
Do you think he was murdered?
No. Yes. That's what I mean. Yeah.
I mean, how is it not?
How is it not
murder?
I mean,
the cameras just happened to go off for that amount of time. It's like the 18 minutes in the Watergate thing.
Right. And then there happened to be new guards that just took a break as the cameras went down.
What a coincidence.
And also the contusions of where he hung himself were not consistent with being hung straight up and down. It was more from being strangled from behind.
That's good. I haven't heard that yet.
Yeah.
But you're insinuating that there's some foul play. I can't have you. I'm not going to sit here and let you impugn.
Dude, I love conspiracy theories, but I love them as a voyeur. I don't love them as a religion. Like some people really, and once you start with conspiracy theories, if you go too deep, always ends up with the Jews. That's the last stop on conspiracy theories.
Bastards.
Who, the Jews?
Okay. I forgot who I'm with.
That's why my career has never taken off in this town.
I'm doing everything I can to prevent it. I tell my buddies, look out for this guy. He seems Irish.
Speaking of your buddies, I played golf with Greg Garcia the other day. He says hello.
He's I haven't seen him in a long time.
Really?
Very nice guy.
Yeah.
Did
you guys used to go to that brunch at
Victor's?
Victor's.
He came once in a while because he was partners with my dear friend Alan Kirschenbach.
Right.
You knew Alan.
Yeah, of course. No, very well. He was my mentor when I came out here. Well, Alan's father,
Freddie Roman.
I
think we talked about this.
Yeah. So Freddie was my mentor in New York, and then he switched me over to his son when I came out to L.A. And so I love spending time with Greg because we talk about it. And then Alan's child,
Molly.
Well, yeah, Molly came over.
I just saw her 2 days ago.
Did you really?
I did.
Yeah, she came over. I went to see her play. She did a Tim Robbins play.
Great.
At that Actors Gang Theater in Culver City.
Yeah.
And I just went to see the play because I know Tim, and so I'm watching it, and I'm thinking this cast is amazing, you know. And then I look at the playbill at the end. It says Molly Kirschenbaum, and I go, there's not a lot of Kirschenbaums in the world. I go, this is Molly. I hadn't seen her, well, since Alan's memorial where she sang beautifully. And I keep seeing she. It's actually they now. And I went down and said hi to her, and it was just a love bomb. And then she came over the house for dinner with her partner, with their partner. And she's just full of life, just so great.
You know, you keep saying she.
I know.
It's so hard for old people.
It is.
They made it, not they made it hard for us.
Yeah.
But apparently the conversation about they, them versus him, her is what is wanted.
Yes, exactly.
Old people's confusion.
Right. Well, because it makes you think about the whole concept, not just the semantics, but the idea of self-identity and how this new generation sees itself as more fluid.
Right.
And they're not willing to just be saddled with traditional gender identity.
The confusion, though, is funny.
Yes.
Like old people we can't even, you know, if there's a new remote in the house, it's hard. So this is, you know, every time a new phone comes out, what did they do now?
I know.
I just got used to this one.
And our kids are finally old enough to be our hotline on how to figure all this stuff out.
I think my kids have given up on me. Like,
yeah,
it's too annoying to teach me, so they'd rather I just sit and mumble.
Yeah.
Which is coming.
Hey, Dad's faxing. Hold on, we get a message from Dad from his AOL account.
Well, it's nice to see you.
It's so great to see you. I've been looking forward to
seeing you every time because we have nice conversations. I mean, we're going to eat lunch after.
Yep.
We've decided where we're going.
Absolutely.
Dr. Sandwich.
Dr. Sandwich.
With the European Deluxe Sausage. That's the official name, right?
Deluxe Sausage Kitchen.
European Deluxe Sausage Kitchen. It's an old German butcher.
His kids run it now.
Oh, the kids run it.
He's gone.
Right, but he was an old German fellow. It reminded me of German delis and butcher shops that my parents used to go to in Washington Heights in Manhattan.
Oh.
There was one there called Bluch and Falk. How's that for an appetizing name? And the stuff in the counter looked like it came from a place called Bluch and Falk.
Everything shined.
You know, that mystery meat with the splotches of fat in it,
right.
where you're like, what the hell? It's like, this bologna's gone bad.
Yeah.
It looks, right? But they love it.
I love it.
You love it too?
Well, yeah, I mean, even brisket. Like, I love a fatty brisket.
Well,
I don't
that's where
mind
the
if I get
flavor
an
is.
entire bite of just fat.
That's
it's
the
amazing.
flavor.
Yeah.
Or the bacon, you're not throwing the fat part away.
No, I eat the bacon. And then, like even when you get low-fat turkey meat, it's like, no, because I grill it. If you're going to grill something, it's got to have some fat on it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you get dried out scuzz. You don't
Right.
want that.
You get like, you ever had venison?
Yeah.
It's very tough to cook venison because it's so lean.
Or ostrich.
I've had ostrich.
Did you have it in South
I
Africa?
did.
Pretty good,
Yeah, we
right?
went to this place
Who else did you eat there? It was
in
like
South Africa.
I told my parents it's like going to the zoo and it's a menu.
Yeah, well, we went to this place outside the game park that was called Carnivore.
Yeah.
Because what they do is they have to thin down certain animals in the park to keep the balance.
Yeah.
And so you sit there at the table and the waiters come around with skewers and they'll just, and they just keep circulating with different skewers and they go, would you like some crocodile? Would you like some ostrich? Would you like some, what's the buck called? Springbuck.
Yeah, I eat that.
Yes.
And they're so gorgeous, these
springbuck.
animals.
Yeah, I
right?
know.
And beautiful. And you're like, not anymore.
Right. Well, look, it's a happy ending to their life. Appreciate them.
Well, yeah, it's better. I mean, the way they, quote unquote, farm animals there is very different than the industrial horror show that we do.
Yes.
I had to catch a chicken for dinner. I was invited to a dinner in the Basque Country in Spain. It's on right now. Not that I need
I haven't seen that. I've seen a few episodes. I
all
didn't
right.
see that one yet.
They said, everybody's bringing something, and they told me you're going to bring the chicken. And so I caught a chicken on a farm. I had to run around like an idiot and try to catch a chicken. Not easy.
Right.
But if you see the episode, I catch it.
You do?
I do. It took longer than the time it takes when you see the show. And I'm out of breath. I'm an old man. So I catch this chicken, and here's what's interesting. The chicken doesn't want to be caught.
Right.
It's running, it's clucking, it's flapping its wings. It's, you're a little afraid.
It's acting like a chicken.
Is it going to peck at me? Is it right?
Yeah.
So you're a little hesitant. That's why it takes so long. If you were not afraid, you can probably walk right over and pick it up. But I'm a little afraid because I'm from the Bronx. What do I know from a chicken?
Well, that's your tagline for your show is you're Anthony Bourdain if he was afraid of everything.
Yeah, that's still somewhat true. Although I have to say, it's 8 seasons now. You can't help but get a little braver.
Right.
Because if our biggest fear is the unknown, when you do something, then now it's known. So you're not as afraid. You may not like it, but you're not as afraid.
What's the most afraid you ever were on the show?
I'll get to that in a second. I'm going to tell you about the chicken.
Oh, yeah, please.
Because I was scared of that.
Yeah. Do they peck? Do you even know?
They didn't peck me, so I don't know.
Yeah.
If I was a chicken, I'd peck the hell out of you.
Right,
trying
right,
to crab
right.
me. I know
well,
what's
you're
coming.
Jewish, so you're used to being the last one pecked. I mean, picked. In gym class.
That is mean. Why are you so mean? Why do you have to hurt people? I just did a flashback to childhood and cried. All right. So the chicken doesn't want to be caught. But when you catch it, something odd happens.
Yeah.
The chicken, instead of flapping around in your hands like, get me out of here, submits completely. Like, okay, you got me. That was a genuine sadness of grabbing this thing that was so alive and now almost knows it's dead.
Right.
Like, I guess that's it for me.
Yeah.
Okay, make it quick. That was the feeling I got from this bird.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there petting this thing. And I said, we're not taking this guy. We're not taking this chicken.
Really?
I'm a total hypocrite. I say it in the show. I'm a total hypocrite. Yes, I will eat the chicken tonight. It ain't going to be my chicken.
Yeah.
And you may catch this chicken later today even or tomorrow and kill it, but I'm not the one who did it. Because I had a 1 minute connection to this chicken.
Right.
And the moment you do that and you see your prey, you connect eyes.
Yeah, right.
I think if we all had to do that, we'd all be vegetarians.
So there's cage-free chickens, and then there's fill-free chickens.
Yeah. This guy was free for God knows how long.
So, I mean, I always think of that because you got these kids that grow up on farms, and they have pigs that they get very close to. Pigs are very intelligent people, and you really bond with them.
You have to kill your friend.
And you got to kill your friend.
Imagine having to kill your dog.
I know.
You wouldn't.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't.
Right. No, I had to put my 2 dogs I had to put down, and both times
But you didn't eat them.
No, but I kept them alive way longer than I think their quality of life justified.
Hey, people do that with people.
Yes, right.
The moment I'm uncomfortable at all, please kill me.
Have you ever been involved with either your parents? Did you sort of have your time with them at the end?
Yes.
Were they in hospice or whatever where you got to really connect with them?
Yes, but I was connected with them all the way.
You were, right.
Very close.
But did you feel like you went to another level when they were right at the end?
No.
It was already there.
My mom had ALS, and it was awful.
Yeah.
Slow decline at ALS as your body just eats itself, right? It's just the one that now this fails. They come over here. What's this machine? Oh, this, she's going to need this when her motor skills completely go, and she'll only be able to communicate by moving her eyes. So you'll need this machine. She's not there yet, but we know this is coming. In other words, this is a one-way street ALS. Right. There is no cure. There is no getting better. At best, you can hang on to this horrible quality of life for a long time.
Right.
So it was just And then you had to advocate for morphine.
Oh, you have to. Oh, really?
They don't give it to you. There's all these legalities. God forbid, something happens with morphine, then the doctor doesn't want to be on the hook for that. So they want you to be. And my advice to somebody going through a horrible one-way thing, there's only death at the end of this road. There is no going back. The quality of life is suffering. My answer to you is morphine.
Yeah, right.
Merciful.
Yep.
But they're not going to do it. You have to do it. And somebody told me that. And now I proselytize this because it's the most humane in this absolutely one scenario.
Right. Yeah. So how long was she at that state where the machine was keeping her going?
We never got to that.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
She was
good.
Breathing it was so labored. It was going to, but she stopped eating. She couldn't eat. So the body, I don't know if you know this, you can survive like 3 months.
No.
Without food. Yeah.
Really?
You could, if you have water.
Damn.
And you can stay barely alive. You shrink down to nothing. And
oh, no, I guess the hunger strikes in Ireland. I remember they went for months. That's right. Bobby Sands.
The body feeds off itself. So
right.
It's just a horrible.
So, and your mom, incredible story. Your mom came from Berlin, and she emigrated, basically fleeing the Nazis, right?
Well, she was caught with her mother, put in a concentration camp in France. I didn't even know they had concentration camps in France. But it turns out the government of France was happy to help the Nazis in certain ways.
Very much so, yeah.
And so they were there for a year or two, and then they got out, but they couldn't get to America. So Cuba accepted them.
Really?
Yes. So my mother says the happiest time of her life was when she was 12, 13 years old, 2 years in Cuba.
No kidding.
Pre-Castro Cuba.
Yeah, right,
so
right.
Mid-40s, right?
Batista.
Still cherished mangoes because they reminded her of Cuba, right?
Yeah. Such a visceral place.
And then her dad, who was separated from him and put in the worst of the worst concentration camps. I'm named after this guy. His name was Philip Auerbach. He devised, because he was somewhat of a scientist, he devised ways for him to stay useful to the Nazis by making lice powder figured that out for them.
No
Roach
kidding.
spray. Wow. Things like this where he became useful.
Right.
Okay? It wasn't part of killing his own people, but
He was helping his own people.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Now the war is over, and my mom and her mom find out that he's alive, that he survived not only Auschwitz, but the famous death march to Buchenwald, where they thought they'd kill, however many hundreds of thousands at a time by marching them in dead of winter from one camp to the other, figuring the march would just take care of them. But he survived that.
Wait, which country was that?
Where was Auschwitz and Buchenwald? Was in Poland, I think.
Right.
So they had this. He survives that. He survives Buchenwald. The war is over now. They find out he's alive. Come to America. We're going to America. No, my job is here. He was somewhat involved in politics before the war.
Right.
He says, there's this government, and I need to be part of it, and I need to restore Germany. This is my work. You come here. My grandmother said, we're never going back there.
Right.
I don't know if you noticed, but they tried to kill us all.
Right.
So he's like, I'm sorry, but my life is here. So he starts, terrible for my mom.
Yeah.
Awful trauma on top of the trauma of being separated. Now dad doesn't even want to be with me. Wow. Screwed up for life, really. There's support groups for children of Holocaust survivors just because of this trauma that is then not passed down to you directly, but you're living with someone who has a lot of problems.
Right.
So there's a whole world.
Isn't it also passed down through your genetics?
Could be.
It becomes actually part of the DNA, that heavy trauma.
Yeah.
And your children are born with it.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Could explain some of my mishigas, but listen.
Yeah.
He does do something great. He starts in Germany something called the restitution program. You might actually know old Jewish people who are still alive from them who get a check every month to this day from the German government. If your business was stolen by the German government pays restitution.
Wow.
My grandfather, Philip Auerbach, started this. I never met him.
Yeah.
My mom saw him one time in the 50s. He came to New York to give a speech. And my mom saw him that one time. Then the German government, they're not crazy about that restitution program. Yeah. Some of them were former Nazis in the government, right? How could they not be?
Right, sure.
They throw him in jail, say that he misappropriated funds, and he killed himself in his jail. No. Yep.
That's profound.
Profound. And the country had a statesman's funeral for him in Berlin.
Right.
Like, huge hero in that way.
That's what you come from.
I do, but I never met the man.
Yeah.
But I'm proud to be named after him.
Yeah, a guy who puts his principles above his family.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Listen, I hear these things. I hear, Martin Luther King, greatest guy in the world, right?
Right.
Maybe not to his family, I have heard.
That's what I've heard. And,
right?
And he knew he was going to die. He talked about it the night before he was assassinated.
Yeah. I'm not comparing my grandfather to him, but there might be a trait in personality that propels you to do good in the world at the expense of your personal life, of your literal family.
Right.
So are you really a complete person if you ignore your family, your kids?
Yeah, that's what's kind of interesting about you is you managed to do both, which very few people do. On Everybody Loves Raymond, famously had 9 to 5 hours so that you guys could have dinner with your families. And so you were able to achieve something that, not that you were being altruistic, but it certainly was a positive force in the world, that show. And certainly the show you're doing now, Somebody Feed Phil, it's about positivity. It's a break from the cynicism. And yet you were able to be a part of your family in a way that I know how close you are to your kids and
put them in the show.
Put them in the show.
Well,
your
that's
brothers
a good way
in the
to
show.
include them.
Right.
Include your family in your work.
Yeah. Right.
Then you're getting everything.
You put your wife in Everybody Loves Raymond. Yeah.
I put them to work, these people. By the way, there's another reason why I wanted everybody to go home and have dinner with their families every night. That's where the stories were coming from.
Right. They were mining them.
Go home, get in a fight with your family, come back in and tell me about it.
Was there ever a time where somebody pitched something like that and then later said, you know what? We can't do that. It's too personal.
Yes, I said, I'm sorry. We're using it.
Oh, right.
I did it to myself. I did it one time. My family, if you watch the show, there was Robert Culp and Katherine Hellman played Deborah, the wife's parents, right?
Yeah.
So the in-laws. Those characters were loosely based on my brother's in-laws. Richard's wife's parents.
Okay.
Were the model for Deborah's parents, Ray's wife's parents on the show.
Right.
We brought them in. Good contrast to our Frank and Marie on the show, his parents. Why? Because they have a little more money. They're cooler.
Yeah.
They're hipper. They say words like funky. They go to Broadway shows. They travel a lot.
Yeah.
So I thought, this is great. Let's do that, and then we'll have Frank and Marie hate them. And talk about them. Oh, they're going on vacation to Vietnam. They keep bragging about how they're going to Vietnam. Good luck with that, right? So when the show is on, you're watching it. There's no streaming. You're watching it at 9 o'clock on Monday nights. 9:30, I get a call from my mother. Are you out of your mind? We have to see these people. These are their in-laws. My
Was
parents'
Vietnam
in-laws.
a real trip that they took?
Yeah, so they weren't snotty about it. I just thought, what if they were?
Right.
So you're loosely basing it on that stuff. And my mother says, I say, Mom, we're exaggerating. And she goes, they don't know. You have to call them and tell you. Do you know how uncomfortable you've made me? I said, Ma, your comfort is something I'm willing to sacrifice for the show.
Speaking of your comfort, how's that new house I bought you? You comfortable in the car I bought you?
That's right, Mom.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
Right.
By the way, you asked me what the worst thing.
Yeah. What was it?
My brother put me in a sports car in an F1, not an F1. What do they call it? What's F1 is the very
Formula
low to the
One,
ground car.
yeah.
What's the car where it's just race cars?
Like a NASCAR?
NASCAR, maybe?
Yeah.
I think I was on an F1 track though in
I think the F1 track that goes up sideways on the corners,
crazy.
doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
In Austin, Texas. We did the Austin show.
That's F1. That's an F1 track. Yeah.
But I'm in a Ferrari because someone else is driving.
Okay.
But I'm strapped in there. You know how fast I get? I went
How fast?
187 miles.
No way.
I'm an old Jewish man. I'm not built for this. It was the worst. You see this on the screen, and it just looks like a car zooming around the track, like a little kid's, race car track.
Right.
Oh no, it's the most violent. It's like being in multiple car accidents.
Yeah.
Have you ever done this?
No.
Don't do it.
So, and the wheel, it seems like the wheel turns like a quarter of an inch.
And you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. The stuff comes up so fast, and you take off like a rocket, and the G-forces, they tell me, are more than a NASA rocket taking off. Because the
Really?
acceleration is so insane.
So your neck is getting
Everything.
thrown
You're
around.
being thrown around.
Yeah.
And when they go into a turn, it's not easy.
Yeah.
They hit the brakes as fast as you have to hit them to make a turn at 187 miles an hour.
Right.
And then you screech into this thing. Now you're thrown forward, then to the side, then to the other side, then accelerate again out of the turn.
Yeah.
This goes on for 2.5 years.
That's why it's insane that Danica Patrick is a competitive driver. And
These are
she's
athletes.
about 5'3".
Yeah, these are athletes. They're not just passengers in the car. You have to be so attuned to everything in the car, everything on the track, the other drivers, right?
Yeah.
We were just going alone. Imagine if there's cars around.
I know.
The chance of accident?
Have you seen that show, the F1 show on Netflix?
I am really not interested.
Well, you think you'd support a fellow non-scripted show on Netflix. I
Nope.
mean, that would just be
Nope.
the right thing to do.
Nope. Don't even watch the other food shows.
You don't?
No, they can all go to hell. I don't know. There's some I love. I do.
That'd be so
I
funny
do.
if Phil Rosenthal finally snaps.
I snap. I'm going to get that Tucci, by the way.
Yeah, that'd be a good MMA fight to promote in Vegas.
A good fight?
Yeah,
Should we create a scandal?
You and Tucci.
That's what I need, a scandal.
Yeah.
Because I'm 8 seasons now. People, I don't want you to take me for granted.
You're so funny. You came in today and I go, thanks for fitting me into your press junket. And you're like, we need it. And you had a seriousness about that.
I'm fighting for my life.
Every season. It's the number one
season,
non-scripted show on Netflix.
It's the longest running.
Yeah.
Proud of that. Great, wonderful, luckiest guy you're ever going to meet. That's how I feel.
Right.
Every season could be my last.
Yeah.
And the longer we're on, the more they could say, what do we give you 8 seasons, go away. Now, we don't usually give 2 seasons, 3 seasons. So I'm very lucky to have gotten this far. Right. But at the same time, you could be dead at any moment.
You hate not working.
Who wouldn't love what I'm doing?
Yeah, but it's also a lot of work.
Nah, it's fun.
Do you do a lot of prep for it?
Yeah.
Or you do?
I love every second of it.
You do?
Everything about it. And then I do the live tours, which I don't have to tell you how fun that is.
Yeah, those are fun.
So that's great. And half the show is Q&A.
Uh-huh.
And I meet the people. And I wouldn't do it if I didn't like people. I love it so. I'm so lucky. And listen, you said it earlier, especially as things get worse in real life, I think the show is a nice little respite from that.
It reminds me of some of the shows that were huge hits during the pandemic, like Queen's Gambit, or that just made you feel good. They weren't cynical. They weren't jarring. And the way it's shot just adds to that. It's so beautifully shot. I mean, the artistic shots
guys.
and it really draws you in. And so it creates a mood every time you watch it. You kind of leave it feeling better.
Well, that's the nicest thing you could say.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, that's what we're going for.
Yeah.
We're not, and people are saying that the show is somehow subversive or politically astute. Maybe, I'm not trying for it, or certainly not overtly trying. There's no hard message.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm against anything. I'm for people.
Yeah.
But suddenly it's political because I'm hugging folks from other cultures and
oh, is that right? You've really heard that?
A little bit.
Really?
Why'd you get political? What do you mean? I did a Washington, D.C. episode, right?
Uh-huh.
Washington, D.C. is a great food town.
Right.
That's my way in, is the food.
Mm-hmm.
But the show's not about food. It's about connecting with the people.
Right.
Just using food and my stupid sense of humor to get you the real message.
Right.
Which I'm not preaching. I'm just doing. I'm just showing.
Yeah.
I wanted a Republican.
They killed Jesus. I mean, you're getting off easy.
So Netflix may kill me soon.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't want... listen, they've been very supportive so far. I love them. Ted Sarandos especially likes the show.
Yeah.
So lucky.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want in the DC episode, I want to have lunch with the only somewhat political anything, but how do you not? You're in Washington, D.C. This was 2 years ago. Can I get a Republican and a Democrat to sit and have lunch with me? Not easily.
Really?
Not easily.
God, remember in the old days you would have gotten, Tip O'Neill to sit there with George Bush and, yeah.
But I got Brian Fitzpatrick from Pennsylvania, Republican, and Pete Buttigieg, who was Department of Transportation.
Well, he gets along with everybody, yeah.
He's wonderful. And they were both on the bipartisanship committee. I don't even know if that exists today. But it was wonderful. And
did it get political? Did you talk about politics at all?
Well, you have to, because you're with a Republican and a Democrat.
Right.
But the whole point of lunch was, look how we get along.
Break bread.
When we sit with each other and eat something, now you're doing a universal thing that everyone does. We're already on common ground. Why? Because we're eating together.
Right.
And if the food's any good, you're in a good mood.
Right.
And if you start talking about anything but politics, like your family, your kids, we're human beings.
Now you're seeing a human being over
Yeah.
there. Right.
So I thought they should put a buffet in Congress because maybe that would, calm
like
things
that.
down a little bit.
Yeah, like a school lunch table where
Anything.
you sit with different kids.
Or a buffet of good food, not
Yeah.
crappy food, good food,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
they're like, they're happy.
They want to be there.
They want to be there and they sit and they eat and everybody suddenly is like not wanting to kill each other.
Right.
That's all.
Do you ever...
But I got letters, not a lot, just a few. Oh, I liked him before he became political. What do you mean political? I'm just trying to be a human.
win. You can't
a
win.
human.
Yeah.
Just be my advice to everybody. Hey, let's try to be just a little more human.
Right.
I don't care what your beliefs are.
Yeah, and I think that I've seen it happen with comedians who are, like my following is a lot of conservatives, even though I'm progressive, but my base comes from the Howard Stern Show, which used to be real, Lunch Pail, New York Post, New Yorkers, and people like that, blue collar people.
Yeah.
And then a lot of Adam Carolla. I'm his most frequent guest, and I love Adam. I don't agree with anything he says politically.
Well, he certainly went
Yes.
right, didn't
Yes, but before he went right,
I was on there a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was very close, and I'm not going to stop going because we
Yeah.
don't talk politics.
he? Okay.
And then Joe Rogan, who also has gone to the right, is a guy who I'm going to his club this weekend.
No
you know?
kidding.
And
Have
I
you
made
been
him
on his thing, on his show?
25 times.
I would like to do his show.
I will bring you up.
Because I see him bending.
Yes, he is.
I see him understanding that we're in trouble.
Right.
I'm not saying he helped get us there, but I have a feeling he's looking at what's happening and saying, well, this is too much.
Right.
Right? So there's
I
a
think
person
so.
in there.
Yeah, I think he's seeing the immigration thing as not what the stated mission was, to take illegal immigrants who were criminals out first.
Of course.
And he kind of won the middle on that one. But now he's grabbing kids and nannies and farm workers and people,
moms with their
Yeah.
kids still on the street with
Yeah.
no one.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
That's not politics. That's inhuman.
And it's not what we were told was going to happen.
Listen, do we all want criminals off the streets? Of course.
Right.
But these are not criminals.
Not only
And
that,
they don't care.
Right, right. And they're the backbone of the economy. I mean, even now, Trump is going like, well, certain ones will let stay. Like the ones that worked for your hotel and golf courses all these years.
They're okay to
they
stay?
They can stay?
That's exactly what he's saying.
Yes.
He doesn't have an agenda
No.
other than pillage.
Pillage.
Yes.
Well, he understands that creating chaos allows the people in power to grab even more power and money.
Listen, here you go getting political again.
All right, I didn't mean to get political. All right, stop. There's so many things I want to ask
Just
you about.
be a human being, people.
Did you ever, I wanted to ask you this because your parents, but did you ever go to Cuba for the show?
Not yet. I'd love to.
Have you tried and met resistance?
No. I would love to go. We just, we do 8 shows a season,
Right.
and it's like a year or so between seasons.
It might be
So,
interesting to find where your mom was. Would
Yeah.
she have remembered?
I'm sure we can find that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, where she was born in Hamburg, I've never been there. I'd
Right.
like to go there. My dad's from Berlin.
Yeah.
So my dad got out. Remember the Kristallnacht? You know what
Sure,
that was?
yeah.
Okay. So he was there for that. And then
Wow.
his dad had some connections to get them a visa to leave.
Right.
But by Kristallnacht, it was almost too late.
Right.
They wanted you to leave earlier. Imagine being told here, listen, you should go. We don't like what you said on the podcast, so you need to go. You're like, yeah. I don't believe that's really going to happen.
Yeah.
And then it does.
Right.
And then now, you know what? It's too late for you to go. We have other plans for you.
Yeah.
Scary shit.
It was literally, that was the pivot point where it turned.
Kristallnacht was
Kristallnacht.
like, oh, they're literally smashing Kristallnacht, Night of Broken Glass. They're literally smashing windows and setting fires in Jewish businesses and synagogues, and any Jewish people they saw on the street, they'd beat up.
Right.
A sign that maybe society is breaking down and that we're not long for this world. People who could still manage to get out got out. Other people freaked out and didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then we know what happened. So he got out. He came to Washington Heights, Manhattan, when he was 12, didn't speak a word of English, and his bar mitzvah was coming up like the next month. So he had to learn English. He had to learn his Haftorah. He had to learn for his bar mitzvah.
No kidding. Wait, who did he stay with when he came over?
My dad,
Yeah.
with his parents. They all made
Oh,
it
they
out.
were with him. Oh,
They made
okay.
it out.
Oh,
His
okay, got
family.
it. Wow.
And then my mother met my father later in the 50s.
Yeah.
As 20-something-year-old, and she went on a date with a guy to a amateur night club in New Jersey, and this skinny tailor who worked at his father's garment center. His father's been a tailor. It's like generations of tailors. My dad.
And how old are they at this point?
In their early 20s, mid 20s, and my dad's up there telling old jokes.
Get out of here.
And she falls in love with him.
No way.
So I always say, I'm only here because of my dad's sense of humor.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
And he never became professional. He just liked getting up on amateur night and telling jokes. And
so
if
it's
you
a family
see,
business.
It is the family business, but he didn't do it professionally. But I gave him the platform on my show to when my mom passed, to keep my dad active and keep him involved, not just in the show, but in life.
Yeah.
Dad, you're going to tell a joke every show.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
And so now that he's passed, we have my favorite funny people. You should do one.
Oh, I'd love to.
Tell a joke for Max.
Yeah.
You know who we had this from on the Australia episode?
Who?
Mel Brooks.
Turned 99 yesterday.
Yes, he did. I love him so much, and I love the conversation so much. We can only use 3-4 minutes in the show.
Yeah.
But I talked to him for 20 minutes, and I put all that on YouTube.
Oh,
if
you
wanna see it.
did. Amazing. Is he
Well,
sharp still?
Yeah.
He is.
He's great.
Oh,
He's
my
great.
God.
He's
That's
great.
sick.
He doesn't get out much, but
Yeah,
when
right.
he does, he's Mel Brooks.
Right. Very cool. Yeah, I just saw him interviewed in something recently, and he was so great.
And he's working still. He's doing
Yeah.
Spaceballs too.
Yeah.
He's doing something else.
Yeah.
What are they? Oh, Very Young Frankenstein, I think he's working on.
Really?
Yes, with people.
Yeah, I went to see, he did a one-man show about 6 or 7 years ago where
yeah.
he went through his whole life story.
Yeah.
It was
and the
incredible.
stories that he would tell on the Carson show, he's got an arsenal.
Yeah. Well,
char-
that's essentially what it was. Yeah, it was all of his panel stories strung together in a chronological way. And
Yes.
he did, I want to say, an hour and 45 minutes without a break. And he was probably 93 at that point.
Q&A too.
I can't remember if there was Q&A at the end, but the show itself was like an hour and 45 minutes.
You sing a little too?
What's that?
Did he sing a little?
Yes, he did. Yeah. He sang High Anxiety.
He's adorable. He's adorable. And the relationship with him and Anne Bancroft. First time I met him was at intermission of a play in Los Angeles. It was Angels in America.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to be introduced to Mel Brooks and Anne Bancroft. And I meet them and I go, oh my God, you're both so terrific. And Mel says, I'm better.
Hilarious, because he wasn't when they met. I think she was a bigger star than he was when they met. But his son is my neighbor. And so...
Max.
Yeah, Max is my neighbor. And so, he's got a book called Generation Z, which is like...
Well, he's a genius.
He's a genius. I mean...
You see him on Bill Maher, and he's so
Yes,
articulate and smart
yes,
and has
I
so
know.
much. I mean...
So my son, when my son was little, when he was probably like maybe 7 or 8 years old, we used to listen to I have a great comedy album collection. I've got hundreds of comedy albums.
Me too.
And so,
I have yeah.
oh, you do?
I used to fall asleep listening to comedy.
Oh yeah. So 2,000-Year-Old Man.
Yeah,
I
the
used
best.
to play. We would play backgammon, and I would play the 2,000-Year-Old Man.
Yep.
And it's a double album, and he would just sit there and laugh while we played. So anyway, when he's about 9, we're trick-or-treating in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I go, oh, and it's Mel Brooks. And he goes, someone's dressed as Mel Brooks. I go, no, it's Mel Brooks. And he turns around and Mel is there. And he started quoting the part about how he'd rather have a rotten tangerine or nectarine
Than a good
than
plum.
a good plum.
Yeah.
And he's doing that routine for Mel Brooks, and Mel Brooks is dying. And he's like, who the hell are you? So we took a bunch of pictures, and one of them is on the mantle of the house.
Of course it is.
Him dressed as a ghost, and
Maybe world's funniest person,
I think so.
right?
I think so.
It's a good argument for that.
Well, because he's not only funny, he's macro funny and micro funny. His concepts are funny for his movies.
And then his character is funny.
And then his character and his jokes, hard jokes. I miss that in comedy, because every time you tell a joke, it's a little bit of a leap of faith. It's scary because, like, that's why a lot of new comedy, some of it is good, but a lot of it is so conversational.
Yep.
They never make themselves vulnerable to bombing.
Yep.
Because they're just connecting to you. It's almost like, hey, we're all together and I happen to be the one that's talking right now, as opposed to, I'm the funniest one in the room, so shut up for an hour while I talk, and I take these little stunts. Every joke is a little stunt, and then I wait, and it either works or it doesn't. And I love that style, that he was the bravest at that.
Oh, yeah. He's fearless.
Yeah.
That whole laughter on the 23rd floor
Oh, my
that
God.
Neil Simon wrote.
Yeah.
He's the main character in that.
Right.
If you watched My Favorite Year.
Yeah.
That was about the Sid Caesar writing room also.
Right.
So you see the Mel Brooks character in there.
And that was, I'm trying to think of who else was on. Neil Simon was on that writing staff.
Larry Gelbart.
Larry Gelbart.
They overlapped a little as Caesar. It became Caesar's Hour.
Yeah.
From Your Show of Shows. Woody Allen.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it was Danny Simon, also Neil's brother, who got Neil into it. And, the Odd Couple is based on the two of them.
Yeah. Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And, God, there was so much.
And those were live shows
comedy.
they did once a week, and I think they were like an hour and a half long.
It's the precursor to SNL.
Yeah, right.
But they had, a star. They had Sid Caesar, who could do anything.
Was it Mel Blanc in the cast as well?
No.
Oh.
That was Jack Benny's show, I think.
Oh, okay.
Right? Another great.
Yeah.
We got to keep these things alive for the people.
I know.
You can find these shows, everybody. If you go on YouTube, you can see. There's a great movie that turned me on when I was like 12 or 13 called 10 from Your Show of Shows. Did you ever see that?
No.
So 10 from Your Show of Shows was just a collection of the 10 best sketches ever on Your Show of Shows. And they showed them in movie theater in 1973.
Okay.
I wonder if you know this sketch, the This Is Your Life sketch.
Yeah, of course.
Mel, Carl. Carl was on the show.
Yeah.
Carl Reiner. Everyone, living or dead, agree this is the best sketch of all time.
This is where she just gets hysterical. Every time somebody comes out, just breaks down.
Uncle Goopy.
Yeah.
I literally fell on the floor.
Yeah.
I couldn't contain my laughter.
Yeah.
Imagine seeing this as a 12 or 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Seeing the funniest thing that's ever been made.
Right.
I mean, that was everything. And then to meet these guys who made that and talk about it with them.
Right.
I would have lunches with these guys.
Yeah.
I made sure that I had lunches with these guys. I organized the lunches and dinners with them because otherwise, you know how life is. They worked together 50 years, 60 years ago, 70 years ago. They're not getting together all the time. They need a reason to.
No, you get older, you stop reaching out. That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, Jesus, that sounds like it would be a great thing to film at this point, while you're still
too late.
For a lot of them, yeah.
Mel's left. That's it.
Yeah.
From that group, that's it. Larry Gelbart's gone. Norman Lear's gone. They were all friends too.
Carl
Reiner's gone.
Yeah.
I'll tell you my favorite thing. Larry Gelbart. I'm having lunch with Larry Gelbart and Norman Lear. This is years ago. And Larry says, what's it like dealing with the networks today?
Yeah.
And I start to tell him a little bit, and he stops me, and he turns to Norman, and he goes, we're dying just in time.
Yeah. Good dismount. We made a nice dismount.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I think about that when I watch the news.
Yeah. Right.
We're dying just in time.
Right. Yeah. But I would imagine when there was, when everybody was afraid we're going to get nuclear bombed in the 60s, like, I'm sure they felt like that. I'm sure they felt like that during the Depression, I think we're a very resilient country. I think that despite it being challenged right now, we still stand for something that is bigger than any political party. I think it's in the hearts of Americans, and I think they'll always fight for it.
Do you?
I do, yeah. And I say that
so if it gets worse, you think there'll be some kind of, I'm not preaching revolution, but you think something the people will take to the streets and make things right again?
They are. I mean, not as much as they could be, but what you're seeing is...
I see a rally, and then it's over.
Right. But what you're seeing is a rally and then the activization of a president ordering the military against the citizens. That's striking a lot of people that might be a little bit on the fence as fundamentally not a democracy. And I think that that's the idea of protest. The protest is not about the number of people that are there. It's about the incidents. It's about the fire hose knocking people down. It's about kids getting shot at Kent State. Those are the moments that can change the way people vote and change what they will tolerate in the government.
And what if we can't vote anymore?
Well, that's a very good point.
What if the Supreme Court is giving one guy all the power?
Yeah.
And everyone who follows him is doing so because he seems to have all the power, which means I will have power if I'm with him.
Well,
We've seen this in history before.
We've never seen anybody in American history control.
Not American history yet.
Yeah. We've seen the exact playbook in many other oligarchies and dictatorships. Yeah, we have. But I think America is different. I do think that these people that are waving flags are doing it blindly. And I think that as the economy tanks, which it will, sell all your stocks. That's what I'm telling all my listeners, sell your stocks. And as Medicaid is taken away, as they're going to attack Obamacare next, this is the bread and butter for the people that have voted for him. And that may change. Now, will they change the voting machines?
They may have already.
Yeah.
There's cases I'm reading where, in Rockland County, where I grew up
heard
in New
about
York.
That. 0 votes.
For Kamala.
Yeah, the down-the-line voting was all Democrat.
And just her
but then
vote.
Just her was not counted.
0.
Yeah.
In the whole district, 0.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Yeah.
I mean, that's real proof, which
And
you never...
they had just downloaded a new software to those machines prior to... I mean, we sound like the other side during the 2016 election.
Which is on purpose.
Yeah.
So here's something, just anecdotally. A tell, maybe, right?
Yeah.
What is one of his things that he does a lot? He talks about other people, and it just seems apparent that whatever he says about someone else, he's guilty of.
Right.
What is the number one thing he yells about? That election was fixed.
Yeah. Wait, Attell? Dave Attell?
No, this is a tell, like,
I
when you're playing
Dave
poker.
Attell. I was like, I've never seen him do anything political in my
That's
life.
hysterical. You're a comedian. You never say a tell to a comedian. That's hilarious. So, a tell, like in poker.
Yeah.
Somebody scratches his eye or something he does.
Sure.
Then you know that he's bluffing, right?
Yeah.
So what does our president do? Every single time he's yelling about somebody, it's always something he's doing.
Right.
This is not a subtle tell. This is very obvious.
Right.
And I'm saying to you, what is the thing he has yelled the most about and will never drop?
The election.
The 2020 election was fixed.
Right.
Even though 60-plus cases could never prove a thing.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't I think that maybe the last election, what everything he was yelling about was a smokescreen for what he was doing?
It's like when they went after John Kerry on the Swift boat thing.
Yes.
It's like all these draft dodgers are calling
Yes.
What cost John Kerry the election was
Yes.
the fact that he was a war hero.
Right.
And a bunch of fucking flat-footed dropouts from the war. That was crazy.
I'm not saying I have proof this was fixed. I'm just saying if we go by behavior, he seems to be signaling.
Right.
And suddenly now Democrats, they don't want to be the ones to say it because then we're as bad as them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what if it's true?
Right. Yeah.
How do you square the fact that you would look at the rallies for the two candidates, and one was packed and enthusiastic and crazy numbers, and one looks, as we would call schwach.
Not only was it schwach.
Schwach.
Not only was it schwach.
A little empty.
But there were ads on Craigslist for people to come to the rallies, and they were paying $1,000.
And what did he say about her rallies? Oh, they're paying them to come.
Right,
and what was he doing?
He was paying them to come. Not only, but he was paying them to come. But guess what he paid them with?
Bitcoin?
The Trump coin, which in order to receive it, you had to fill out all this paperwork and jump through like you were never going to get the $1,000.
Well, he's famous for not paying.
Exactly.
How about his parade? That went away fast.
Yeah.
Why did the media leave that alone right away?
I know.
That was a huge thing.
Yeah.
Here's his parade. It was the saddest parade in history.
Yeah.
Isn't that emblematic of the whole thing?
Well, the fact that the military showed up and did it, and they were pretty vocal. A lot of the generals were saying this is a waste of our time.
Those guys sauntering down the street and not in step?
Right.
That was a big FU.
Yeah.
I loved that. That was great.
Yeah.
We have to hope and pray that there's more of them
than
the other.
That's
who
right.
will just, we don't want to hear, I'm only following orders.
That's right. Yep.
Right?
We've heard that before.
Yeah.
I don't want to get you caught up in politics because.
But look what you did. You got me going now.
Well, it's very hard
Listen,
these days
people,
to avoid it.
I want to talk to the people for 1 second.
All right, talk to that camera.
It's important to stay informed. It's important to see the news. But we can get consumed, right? We can get, look how it takes over I always say every conversation ends in Trump.
Right.
Because it's so over us, right? And so prevalent in the lives, and we're scared.
Yeah.
Okay, you can drive yourself nuts. So once in a while, watch something nice like Somebody Feed Phil. It doesn't have to be my show, but go outside.
Yeah.
Smell the flowers.
Yeah.
Go have lunch with your friends. We still, right now, have a beautiful life here.
Yes, extreme. I mean, I don't know of a country that has a better quality of life at this moment than we do.
Unless you're being picked up by ICE.
Yes.
Then you're not. So,
right.
What do? We stay aware. We talk about it. We said we don't let these people disappear in silence. We make a big stink about it. We call our congressmen. We call our senators when a big, beautiful bill is going to take away rights.
We talk about it on our podcast, even though we lose a lot of listeners.
It could be, but there's also nice, and you have to make time for that. Otherwise, what's the point of any of it? And
you need to rest your psyche.
Yes.
Your psyche needs to unengage for a little while. Meditation is huge for me. I've been doing it for probably 10 years now. And whenever I'm feeling frazzled, I do it, and it's like not only does it feel like a long nap, everything shrinks down. All those things that were spinning in my head, they just shrink down. So,
in meditation, you have the thought, you see it, and then you let it go.
Right. You don't keep it out. Everybody thinks meditation is doing the mantra and going, samadhi, whatever your mantra is, but it's just the opposite.
Did you just tell me your mantra?
No, I would never tell anybody. I've never told anyone my mantra in 10 years.
I've never told mine.
And so what you do
and then I started to make up my own words.
Oh, did you?
Things to say.
Really?
Things that are literally, let that one pass.
Oh, so you have actual
literally
phrases.
saying that to myself, and sure enough.
Oh, because mine is just like a Sanskrit
sound. Mine is a word, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But whatever works, people.
Yeah.
All it is shutting off the phone and sitting for 20 minutes.
Say whatever thoughts. Just do om.
Let whatever thoughts come in.
Right.
Acknowledge you have that thought. Acknowledge you have that feeling about that thought.
Right.
And then, okay, I'm done. I'm done with that thought. Yeah. Next. Anything else there? And eventually you get to just nothing.
Yeah. And then you gently bring yourself back to you just go, I'm having my thought. And then, like you said, you process the thought, you observe it, and then you come back to it, and then thoughts come in.
And sometimes you get a great idea.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's good too.
Yeah, I know.
Because the mind wasn't trying to think of a great idea.
Right.
Something pops in.
I also yesterday took magic mushrooms and then spent like an hour in the ocean riding waves.
Really?
That helped too.
I worry about, because is it fair to say it's a drug?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Are you afraid that you do something like that and you forget how to breathe and you drown?
I think just the opposite. I felt completely in tune with the ocean.
Really?
I think if you were to take like an LSD type of drug, I think you might lose motor skills. But mushrooms are from nature.
Never did it.
I also didn't take a lot.
I've never done it.
Yeah, you should try it.
Come on, here we go. It's Magic Mushroom Day.
We should do one where we take it and then we do like a
podcast.
3-hour podcast.
How's that?
And we watercolor while we're doing the podcast.
Yeah, the people watching or listening are going, that's better than your political shit.
Yeah, talking about kittens is amazing. Yeah. And how we're all just
But I'm
cells.
halfway there anyway. I'm a very happy guy,
I know
usually.
you're a very happy guy, but we're all just waiting for you to snap one day. Everybody is.
It's going to happen here.
Is this the place?
I'm saving it for your show. Because I like
I just got to keep poking you.
You just poked the bear a little
Well, I
bit.
bring up the Nazis. I figure, all right, maybe that'll get them there.
Remember Martin Short, the character he does,
Jiminy Glick?
Jiminy Glick with Mel Brooks?
Oh, yeah.
What's this obsession you have with the Nazis? What is it
Mel
with you and the
Brooks laughed
Nazis?
so
Nazi this,
loud.
Nazi that.
Yeah.
What'd they ever do to you?
Has there ever been a better character than Jiminy Glick?
I think it's the greatest character interview parody that I've ever seen. It's part Merv Griffin, part there was another guy that he's a little bit like, and then just and it just allows his id to just be free form.
That's what it is.
and be as mean.
Yep.
Actually, and say the truth about people.
Yeah.
Under the guise of this big fat suit.
Yeah.
Hysterical.
Yeah.
Really hysterical.
Just saying, now, I don't know who you are, but... and then he'll take a call from his wife in the middle of the interview.
And the fact that he's, pretending to be straight is it's just hilarious.
And falling over the chair
he's
backwards.
hilarious.
It's really...
Another candidate for funniest person who
yes,
ever lived.
Yes. All right, so...
He's looking at his list.
Well, because there's...
What
I'm
else?
looking at the
What
time. I
else
don't want
can
to
I-
keep you that long,
What
but...
else can I...
All right, the other thing I'll ask you about is this is called Fastballs with Fitz, where I just ask you some quick questions.
We'll see how fast I am.
When's the last time you apologized?
I apologize every morning. I wake up, I turn to my left, and I say, is there anything I've done to piss you off yet, darling? That's an old Catskills joke. I love that joke. I think it was Malzy Lawrence. did that
Malzy
joke,
Lawrence,
Catskills
yeah,
on Broadway
Catskills
with
on
Freddie.
Broadway, yeah.
So, yes, if you're married, you're in a constant state of apology.
Yeah, right. If you're
You're always
smart, you
apologize.
are. Yeah.
Well, yeah, listen, apologize quickly and often,
Yep.
I believe.
Well, it's a muscle.
It
and you get good at it.
But I mean it when I do.
Yeah.
I'm always going to assume I did something wrong.
Right.
I'm not that smart. So it probably was me, but it's also a very good disarmament
Yeah.
and de-escalation of an argument. Just apologize. Well, who the hell cares?
Yeah. And it also, like, when you're together so much, stuff can start to build up that you're not talking about.
Yeah.
And and then as soon as you apologize, you realize, oh, that wasn't a big deal. It's just that I was
course.
not expressing it.
But also you're looking for the resolution to come faster.
Yeah.
The problem is when the apology is not accepted.
Yeah.
Because they think you were just apologizing quickly to get this over with and
Right.
get me to stop talking.
Right. It's got to be a quality apology.
You have to mean it.
Yeah.
I do mean it, but sometimes that doesn't work either.
Well, when people qualify an apology, I'm sorry that I blank, but you...
Yeah, you can't have a but.
Yeah, or I'm sorry that you're upset that I did this.
Lose your butt.
Lose your butt. Go to the gym, lose your butt.
Yes.
There's two types of people in the world.
Yes.
Go.
People who voted for him and people who didn't.
There you go. See, I want to change that though.
Okay.
Because I work comedy clubs all deep south, conservative Midwest.
I only said that because it's on our minds right now.
Because it's what?
Because we were talking about it.
But
That's not really true. These people are people also.
Yes.
And some people, yes, did they have nefarious intentions maybe?
Yeah.
Or selfish intentions?
Right.
Misguided? And some were duped. And some were good, hardworking, honest people.
Yes.
Who were duped.
Well, they were basically, a lot of people are facing loss of jobs. They're shrinking income, higher cost of living. And they're looking at that, and here's this guy who comes along who is one of the great salesmen of all time.
I don't want to say salesmen. I want to say con men.
Right? Okay.
Because, listen, it's not that I'm making that up.
He doesn't believe in the product.
But he's a convicted con man.
Yeah.
He had to pay restitution to everyone
Gene
who
Carroll,
enrolled
right?
in Trump
University.
University.
Yeah.
You would think that would have been disqualifying.
Yeah.
They interview these people. They gave their life savings because they saw him as the guy on The Apprentice who really ran a business.
Right.
And could teach them about business. They were completely ripped off. He didn't give a shit about them. That's a little tiny microcosm of what he's doing now.
Yeah.
Now you got me mad.
Yeah. Who's your best gay friend?
Oh, I don't really like. I have a lot. I love. I don't. Is it right to out people on the show?
Yeah, that would be funny.
My favorite is Greg Fitzsimmons. Everybody, he's the best.
Stop it.
No, I come from theater.
Yeah, right.
So if I didn't have gay friends, I wouldn't come from theater.
Sure.
You have to. We're filled with the gays.
Yeah,
we love the gays.
Yeah, love the gays.
Listen, I would vote for Pete Buttigieg in a heartbeat.
Do you think that's a deal breaker for
great-
America that he's gay?
Sadly, at this moment in time,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't. But look, people got behind Barack Obama,
It's true.
but they couldn't get behind a lady.
No, twice now they've
Yeah.
not gotten behind a lady. And the crazy thing is, not only is he a strong family man who's got kids and
He
is a
happens
long
to be a
marriage,
genius, brilliant.
brilliant, and also he goes on Fox News.
He's
he
great.
converses with the other side.
Well, yeah. That's why
That's
I got
what
him
we
for
need.
my show.
Right.
Because he was willing to talk to. There were people I couldn't get from both sides.
Right.
Not willing to be seen as talking to the other. That's
Right.
how low it's gotten.
Yeah, right.
This is the most I've talked about the political situation in America.
Well, I mean, I see that you're active in supporting different causes, and I know you did something where you were feeding meals to people online.
True.
And who were voting.
Because
Was
you know
that-
why? Because it's inhuman not to.
Right.
I'm not trying to be political. I'm just trying to make people understand this is not about the left and the right and politics, Republican, Democrat. Human.
You were feeding
issues.
everybody.
Human.
You didn't ask who they voted for before
course
you
not.
gave them the meal.
Human.
Right. Now, was that the genesis of Larry David's episode where he was
Yes.
giving? It was really. That was
But
not
also-
only an episode. That was a season-long arc.
But I gave him another one too. This first season, I had a restaurant and he said, "Hey, can we have dinner one time?" I said, "Sure, Larry." He pumped me for information, and then that was his season. Was he had a restaurant?
No kidding.
Yes. And then he never called me or told me about it. And I see him later. He goes, "Hey, did you see? I did the thing. Yeah, I saw." Then he had me in the show a couple times.
Well-
he wore a MAGA hat to keep me away.
Oh, I saw that episode.
Yes.
Yeah. That was great. Oh, that's great. That's right. I remember that. Well, look, he mind you, you mind your family. So that's how
It's
it works
fair.
in this business. Yeah.
Nobody funnier. He also could be one of the funniest people who ever lived. Every word you've met him, obviously. Every word out of Larry David's mouth is an episode of that show.
Yes.
When I met him the first time, I'm introduced to him at a party 25 years ago. I say, "Hi, Larry, it's nice to meet you." He doesn't say hello. He says, "You think it's all right to throw gum in the fireplace?" It's an episode.
Right. Yeah.
That's who he is.
Yeah. Right.
Great. So my show is who I am.
Yeah.
So he was the guy behind Seinfeld. I'm the guy behind Raymond.
Right.
His show, I would call my show, "Why Curb Your Enthusiasm?"
Right. Let out your enthusiasm.
Yes, that's right.
All right, final question. I've never
Yes, sir.
asked this one before.
Oh.
What was your first kiss, Phil Rosenthal?
Wow.
Scandalous, I know.
Lauren Lazinsk, 12 years old, the YMYWHA camp in Rockland County.
What does that stand for?
Young Men, Young Women Hebrew Association camp.
Okay.
Day camp.
Yeah.
12 years old. Kiss goodbye at the end of camp. Didn't kiss her the whole time.
So
Held hands once.
was there an attraction all summer?
Oh, we
And
were boyfriend, girlfriend.
Oh, you were, but you never kissed.
No, that's for older people. But I thought, I'm not gonna. Maybe I don't see her again. This is the end of camp.
What a
Kiss her
great
goodbye.
kiss.
It was
On
a
the
kiss
cheek
goodbye.
or on the lips?
Lips, baby. Come on.
Baby, come on. Who are you all of a sudden?
I'm a stud.
We bring up your 12-year-old kiss and all of a sudden you're like, hey, baby.
It was as chaste as it could be.
Yeah, I love it.
And I was nervous wreck.
Did you ever see her again after that?
Nope.
Perfect. That's how it should be.
Nope. That was my last great relationship.
Don't forget to
I'm married 35 years.
All right, don't yell it.
35 years. I haven't spoken to her
Yeah.
in 25 years. I don't want to interrupt.
That's the
Good night,
key.
ladies and gentlemen.
Phil Rosenthal. Somebody Feed Phil is on Netflix. It's the 8th season, the longest running non-scripted show in Netflix history.
Isn't that nice?
And we're going to go get some lunch and we're going to keep talking.
I love a man named Greg Fitzsimmons.
It's my show.